All praises to the Most High, brothers and sisters. I am your host, the Apostle Reuben of IUPR Bible Radio, podcasting from Little Rock, Arkansas, gathering the true 12 tribes of Israel together to meet the Lord at his coming. Well, brothers and sisters, this podcast is going to be about hell. Now, this hell is not what you are traditionally or were traditionally taught in church. Excuse me. We're going to go through the scriptures and we're going to find out something that is left out of the Sunday Christian movement altogether. And it's set up to be that way. Now, as you look on the screen, brothers and sisters, you see Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1. Now, I'm going to read Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1, and then I'm going to drop down, I guess 1 and 2, and then I'm going to drop down to verse 13, because this is going to play a key part in this podcast episode. So let's begin. The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. Now, I want you to pay attention to that word above. Keep that in your memory. Above all nations of the earth. Verse 2, and all these blessings shall come on thee. Blessings. And overtake thee. Blessings now. The 12 tribes of Israel. If thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God. Not all man's God, theirs. He belongs to them. Make that point. Watch this. Let's go down to verse 13. And the Lord shall make thee the head, and not the tail. And thou shalt be above only, and thou shalt not be beneath. Now, remember earlier we read above. Above who? Nations. And thou shalt not be beneath. Who would we be beneath? Nations. So if we kept the law above, and we would never be beneath. And as I just said, the beneath is nations. If thou hearken unto the commandments of the Lord thy God, which I command thee this day to observe and to do them. Now, this verse is going to play a key part in this podcast episode, brothers and sisters. A key part because we're going to go to a place in the Bible and we're going to see this mentioned, the word beneath mentioned again in this verse. That's what I mean. Now let's go to 2 Peter. The reason why I want to go to 2 Peter is because I want to get this scripture interpreted. Because traditionally they would have you think that, the angels are already there burning up and we're going to go and we're going to be with them and tormented forever. But let's look at this. It says, now this is 2 Peter 2 and verse 4. For if God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell, and delivered them unto chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment. Now, here's where they say, well, see, now it's definitely confirmed, confirmed that this is a place where angels and the dead exist. So let's get right into it, brothers and sisters, because I'm going to come back to this verse. And the reason why is because, and I read this verse to you first. I read this verse first for a reason. Because this is what they think of hell. This is the Sunday Christian movement. So let's go back to Deuteronomy 28, verse 13, one more time before I begin. Right back. Here we go. Deuteronomy 28. Bring it back on the screen. Verse 13. And the Lord shall make thee the head and not the tail, and thou shalt be above only, and thou shalt not be beneath, if that thou hearken unto the commandments of the Lord thy God, which I command thee this day to observe and to do. So let's go to the book of Isaiah. Now, I want to begin here because this is where I feel it's appropriate to begin. The book of Isaiah 14. And we're going to start in verse, because a lot of times, brothers and sisters, when you read the Bible, when the ministers read the Bible and they try to say that, because a lot of times they tell the true Hebrews that teach the Bible that they're going out of the context, but the Christian church always goes out of context, because this is all they are, many that are in that movement are in a fabrication of things, especially the scriptures. They're fabricating scriptures in order to do something. It's an action. We're going to find out right now. Watch this. That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon. So this proverb, this parable, this is a parable now, against the king of Babylon, and say, how hath the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased. Now this Babylon we're about to read about, just pay attention. Pay attention, brothers and sisters. This Babylon we're about to read about is the end time Babylon. Let's go to verse 5. The Lord has broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. So he's broken the staff of the wicked. He's broken the staff of the wicked. Broken the staff. Psalms 119, verse 85. The proud have digged pits for me, which are not after thy law. But watch this. I went there for a reason, because we're going to go to Malachi 4. See, the proud is the exact same as wicked. Watch this. Horror hath taken hold upon me because of the wicked that forsake thy law. And of course, we know this because a lot of people don't understand what the word wicked is. You can be wicked with a smile. Proverbs chapter 28, verse 4, they that forsake the law praise the wicked. So anything that is against the law is wicked. This is who wicked people are. They're against the law, but such as keep the law contend with them. Watch this. And again, this one is one that uh, will show you who's Satan. Watch this. Set thou a wicked man over him. Over who? Watch this. Let's go back up because I like to start. This means something. It says, "For my love thou art my adversaries, but I give myself unto prayer. And they have rewarded me evil for good." So they have rewarded me sin instead of law. For my good, I'm being offered sin. They're sinning against me. And hatred for my love. Watch this. Set thou a wicked man over him, and let Satan stand at his right hand. So Satan stands at the right hand of a wicked man. What they're saying, brothers and sisters, is that wicked man himself is Satan. Podcast episode coming up soon. So I'm showing you, brothers and sisters. Let's go back to the book of Isaiah. That the wicked man is a sinful man. These are this kingdom. Let me see. Verse 6. The Lord has broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the ruler. So these wicked men are rulers. That's why in Job 9:24, Job chapter 9, verse 24, it says, "The earth is given into the hands of the wicked." So wicked people rule this planet. But in Isaiah 14:5, it says, "The Lord has broken the staff of those wicked," which had the power of Satan to execute a form of judgment on the children of Israel that were scattered all over the earth. And the scepter of rulers, watch this, he who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger, is persecuted, and none hindereth. Nobody's going to stop it. Nobody is going to stop this. The second coming of Christ comes, this kingdom will be going down. But watch. Verse 7. The whole earth is at rest. Now the whole planet is at rest. It's quiet. They break forth into singing. This is about the king of Babylon now. Watch this. Verse 8. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon say, since thou art laid down, no feller is come up against us. But I want to go to verse 9. Watch this. Hell from beneath, hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee. Why does it say dead? Because of what we're going to read after this verse. Even means indeed all the chief ones of the earth. They're the dead. The chief ones of the earth are the dead, but I'm going to show you why. It has raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nation. It has raised up. This is saying something, brothers and sisters, but I'm not. Let's get the chapters and the verses. Let's get the book of. Let's see where I want to go. Many places, but I need to put things in place the right way in this podcast episode. So I want to go to Habakkuk, or Habakkuk, chapter 2, and I want to get right to it. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 2. And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time. For the vision is yet for an appointed time. But at the end it shall speak. This vision. Vision is usually the law. That's why Proverbs 29, verse 18 says, where there is no vision, this is Proverbs 29:18. I'm just quoting it to you. Where there is no vision, the people perish. But he that doeth the law or the commandment, happy is he. Proverbs 29:18. Write that down. But at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Watch this. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith. Here we go. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine. His wine is transgression. He is a proud man. We just read that in Psalms 119, verse 85. I told you that I when I go somewhere, brothers and sisters, I'm showing you the proud have dig pits which are not after thy law. Psalms 119, verse 85. He is a proud man that dig pits which are not after your commandments. Neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell. Oh, as hell. And is as death. So when hell follows, death follows. That's why Isaiah 14:9 says, stirs up the dead for thee. Even the nations. So this Babylon is above all the nations and is causing, let's read it again. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. Who enlargeth his desire is hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied. But gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. You don't talk about this in Sunday church. So man is responsible for hell. This doesn't say below the ground. This is telling you what hell is. Who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death. The proud, the sinful man, the wicked man, the sinner, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations. So the hell involves all nations. It's not a pit under the ground. No, it's not that at all. It's not something place you're gonna go after death. Looks like it's something else. Let's get the book of Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 27. Let me see where I want to start. Proverbs 27. Verse 20. Hell and destruction are never full. So the eyes of man are never satisfied. It's a comparison to where what we just read in Habakkuk or Habakkuk 2 and 5. He enlarges, let's go back. And then we're going to come back here. Let's go back. Chapter 2 and verse 5. Then we're going to go back to the book of Proverbs, chapter 27 and verse 20. So pay attention, brothers and sisters. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell. As hell. And it is as death, and cannot be satisfied. Ooh, cannot be satisfied. He's not satisfied unless the nations under him suffer. Usually that's what the top kingdom has to do to the rest of the world to rule. And cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations. So he gathers unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. See, when we go back to Isaiah, this is talking about nations, and somehow it became 1/3 of the angels. Let's go to Proverbs. We're going to watch. Hell and destruction are never full. Where who's in hell and who's in the destruction? Nations. So the eyes of man are never satisfied. We just read that very same word, satisfied. In Habakkuk 2 and 5. We have to pay attention, brothers and sisters. We have to pay attention because these scriptures that I'm reading to you now are not going to come out in the Sunday Christian church. But it looks like here, brothers and sisters, hell is on earth. It looks like hell is on earth. So I want to go to Psalms 116. I'm just coming up with precepts, brothers and sisters, just precepts, because when we get down to it, it's going to be what I need it to be. And I want God's word to lead this. Psalms 116, verse 1. I love the Lord because he hath heard my voice and my supplication, because he hath inclined his ear unto me. Therefore I will call upon him as long as I live. The sorrows of death compass me, and the pains of hell. Wait a minute. Listen, brothers and sisters, you just, in Habakkuk 2 and 5, saw death and hell. David wasn't dead when he wrote this. He was alive. And plus, he's writing with the Spirit of Christ. He's saying something here. The sorrows of death compass me, and the pains of hell. Wait a minute. We're coming back. Make sure, brothers and sisters, we pay attention, because we can get lost very quick. What I'm showing you is this here. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine. He is a proud man. Neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell. This is talking about man that enlarges his desire as hell, and is as death. and cannot be satisfied. He cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Again, let's right back to Proverbs. The reason why I'm going back is I really don't want you to forget the thought here. Because people have been told that all their lives, people have been told that hell is below the ground. You're not going to suffer it until death. But watch this. It says this: hell and destruction are never full. Full of who? Habakkuk said all nations he desired hell and death. He put unto himself all nations. So who's in the hell? The nations. The nations. Hell and destruction are never full. Full of who? The nations. So the eyes of man are never satisfied. His eyes are not satisfied unless the earth is in chaos under his rule. Now, remember Isaiah 14, we're talking about the king of Babylon. This is a parable against the king of Babylon. I'm just giving you some precepts, brothers and sisters. Right now, I'm just giving you some precepts to show that hell is not that place they're talking about under the ground. Now, a lot of scholars says it is the grave, and I can agree with that. It's also the grave. The grave is also a hell, death, because it is a part of death. That's why. The grave is a part of death, which makes it hell. But a lot of these things that are written in Proverbs and Psalms are parables. And you have to understand that there has to be scriptures to match parables. Watch this. And I'm going to say it like this. You have to use the scriptures in the parables. The sorrows of death compassed me, and the pains of hell got hold upon me. I found trouble and sorrow. So hell caused trouble and sorrow. I ain't seen nothing about burning yet. I do know this: man causes death and hell. Let's get Isaiah 5:13. Isaiah is showing you Isaiah 5. Now this is, like I said, this is the hell no one wants to go into. Let's go to Isaiah 5:13. It says, therefore my people are gone into captivity, because they have no knowledge. Israel, and their honorable men are famished, and their multitude dried up with thirst. Watch this. Therefore hell hath enlarged herself. Now wait a minute now. Wait a minute. Hell has enlarged herself. Why? Therefore my people are gone into captivity. Captivity. My people have gone into captivity, because they have no knowledge, and their honorable men are famished, and their multitudes dried up with thirst. Therefore hell, which is the captivity of his people, hath enlarged herself, and opened her mouth without measure. And their glory, and their multitude, and their pomp, and he hath rejoiced, shall descend into it. Descend into it. So they think, well, see, it's underground. They said descend. See, they look at words like that and that just sticks them. Descend into it. How? Descend means to fall into it. But it's also called captivity. So what happened? Remember Lamentations 2, I'm going to read this one verse because people don't know the level of Israel. When God's behind you, the level you're on, until you start breaking the law, then he shows you something else. Watch this. How hath the Lord covered the daughter of Zion with a cloud in his anger and cast down from heaven? See, that's descending. See, when Israel was cast down, they descended into captivity, which was hell. Down from heaven to the earth, the beauty of Israel, and remembered not his footstool in the day of his anger. He didn't cast them down from the third heaven. He cast them down from power. See, these are the things we have to pay attention to, brothers and sisters. These are the things we have to pay attention to when we're reading the text. Let's go back down. Let's go back to Isaiah 5. Isaiah chapter 5. We're going to go read these two verses again, real quick. Therefore, my people are gone into captivity because they have no knowledge, and their honorable men are famished, and the multitude dried up with thirst. Multitude dried up with thirst. Multitude. Therefore, hell hath enlarged herself. How? Because of the thirst, of the captivity, of the multitudes, and opened her mouth without measure. And their glory, which was mentioned in Lamentations 2, verse 1, the beauty, and their multitude, and their pomp, and he that rejoiceth shall descend into it. See, brothers and sisters, this is what we will not get. If we went to Christian church on Sunday, I keep saying church, but if you, the Sunday movement, they're not going to take time to tell you that hell is caused by man. Or you will snap out of it and wake up, well, the only one that's causing hell is, everybody can look. Yeah, right there. No. That's why hell will be taught as a place in the Sunday church. Watch this. Let's get Proverbs. I'm giving you Proverbs 15. And I want to go to verse 24. Proverbs 15, verse 24. The way of life is above to the wise. The wise are the law keepers, that he may depart from hell beneath. Hold up now. We got to wait. The way of life is above to the wise, that they may depart from hell beneath. Beneath where? When was there a doctrine where if you go to their version of hell, which is after death, you can come out of it? No, there's no doctrine that Sunday church, I keep calling them church, but anyway, the Sunday movement have, the Christian Sunday movement have. There's no doctrine that has ever been created that says once you after death go to hell, there is no way you can come out of that. You go to hell, you're there. But this says the way of life is above to the wise, that he may depart from hell beneath. Beneath who? Beneath what? How is the hell being caused? Folk, you don't see angels down here causing havoc. You don't see it. Man causes the havoc. You know why? Because that is the power of an angel. The power, and you're going to see in future podcast episodes, the power of an angel works through kingdoms. Man is just a host, but the man God uses to do the destruction has to be destroyed. In reality, this isn't a fairy tale book. The way of life is above to the wise, that he may depart from hell beneath. Beneath. Let's go back. The wise. Let's look at again, Isaiah 14. And we're going to read verse 9. I'm going to keep coming back here. Hell from beneath. See, hell, the way is above to the wise, Proverbs 15:24, that they may depart from hell beneath. Hell beneath. See, now we see the way. See, I'm going to tell you what we're doing, brothers and sisters. When we learn this truth, the Bible is a book, a full book of truth. We start learning things that we never thought we'd know. And the first thing that has to depart from hell is your mind. When you begin to understand through God's Spirit how things really work, it comforts you. And you begin to see that this Bible is a true book. Because all nations that are up under the king of Babylon are dead because he causes it, this top nation. That's why it says, hell from beneath is moved to meet thee at thy coming. Why does it say coming? It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. You've caused death and hell because we're beneath. You've caused this death and hell. Babylon. It has raised up. It hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the earth. See, something is stirring the kings of the earth. Something is going to stir the kings of the earth. This is reality. Watch this. I'm just going to read verse 10. And they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou, Babylon, that's who it's talking about, also become as weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? See, they're no longer. That's why it says, at thy coming. How? Watch this. Let's go to Revelation 12. It says the same thing in Revelation 12. Let's go to verse. Watch this. And the great dragon was cast out, the old serpent called the devil and Satan. Now remember, Satan is at the right hand of a wicked man. The dragon, old serpent, devil, and Satan are the same thing. It's talking about the dragon. Now, I made a podcast called The Great Red Dragon. You can go to my YouTube channel and just type in IUPR Bible Radio with host the Apostle Reuben, and it should give you the channel, and watch the podcast episode. Which deceiveth the whole world, he was cast out into the earth. See, he's going to be cast out unto the earth like Israel was cast down to the earth. And his angels, they look at that and they say angels were cast out with them. We're going to deal with that. We're going to deal with that. Watch, we're going to deal with that. Let's go back. See, he came down. See, you start coming down. Watch this. This is when you know it's coming down. I think it's the appropriate time to go here. 2 Thessalonians 2. Verse 7. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let, until he be taken out of the way. Watch this. And then shall the wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy the destroy with the brightness of his coming. The wicked shall be revealed. The wicked shall be revealed. Let's go back. Let's go back. I want to go back to Isaiah, because Isaiah 14. Watch. The wicked shall be revealed, Paul saying. Watch this. The Lord has broken the staff of the wicked. See, Paul is saying that wicked is going to be revealed, but the prophecies say that he has broken the staff of that very same wicked Paul was talking about, and the scepter of rulers. So now you know that the wicked are rulers. Now remember, thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon. It's who it's talking about. So this Babylon, back to verse 9, hell from beneath. So hell from beneath this Babylon is moved to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. Hell is beneath, not underground, but beneath this nation that rules. Babylon was a nation that ruled the world. And you're going to find out this second Babylon also rules the world. But who is it? We're going to find out. It had raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. Let's go here. Now, what I'm doing now, brothers and sisters, is I'm doing precepts, but it's going to come together. Because precepts doesn't necessarily mean that, The book of Psalms, chapter 9, verse 17. The wicked shall be turned into hell. And all the nations that forgot God. Wait a minute. Okay, when you're looking at this verse, the wicked shall be turned into hell. Are the sinners going to be turned into a place? No. No. Because it is not talking about a place after death. The hell is talking about is the same thing we've been looking at all this time. Isaiah 14 and 9, nations. Habakkuk 2 and 5, nations. Psalms 9 and 7, nations. I haven't seen death then go to hell yet. Hell involves nations. Let's move on. Let's move on, brothers and sisters. I want to go to, now this scripture here we're about to go to now. Again, parable form. Again, parable form. I'm going to show you because it's the meaning of it. It is the meaning of it. I like the meaning of the verses, brothers and sisters, the chapters and the verses of this text, because we have to have them. Book of Psalms, 55. And I want to start in verse 15. It says, let death seize upon them. Let them go down quick into hell for wickedness. is in their dwellings, their livings, and among them. And among them. Watch this. As for me, I will call upon God, and the Lord shall save me. The Lord shall save me. Let's go to the book of Matthew. So let's go into the New Testament. Matthew 11, verse 23. I'll read verse 22. But I say unto you, it shall be more tolerable for Tyre and Zidon at the day of judgment than for you. But watch this. And now, Capernaum, which are exalted into heaven. Now, was Capernaum in heaven? He said, thou were exalted into heaven, shall be brought down to hell. So a city was in heaven and it dropped down into the pit of fire. No, brothers and sisters. This hell, now you begin to see. Thou shalt be brought down to hell. For if the mighty works which have been done in thee had been done in Sodom, it would have remained until this day. So what if they're going to be brought down to hell? Who's going to bring them down to that hell? In this case, brothers and sisters, I'm just going to flat out tell you who God used to destroy them. The Romans. The Romans. Just telling you flat out. The Romans would cause it. That's why Christ said this. The book of Matthew, let's stay in the book of Matthew. Chapter 16, verse 18. And I say also unto thee that thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. Is that the gates that's underground in the fire pit? No. Christ is telling Peter that the gates of hell, this upcoming hell that's coming to you Jews and some of the northern tribes that were there in the regions, is what and see, they knew this. They knew this. The Pharisee in Matthew 11:23 knew the hell he was talking about. Peter understood the hell that Christ was talking about, because the hell has been identified in Proverbs 27 and 20. See, Proverbs 27 and 20, Isaiah 14 and 9, and Habakkuk 2 and 5. We understand that hell involves nations. And when Israel kept God's law, they were above. But if they didn't, they were beneath. They were beneath. So if they're beneath a nation, or I should say, because they, along with the nations, are beneath a nation. And for what we read in Isaiah 14, 4 down, we know that this is talking about Babylon, the wicked Babylon. There's no way we can count that out. No way, brothers and sisters, we can count that out. Let me show you this. Jonah. Now, this is one that was common. I want to go to Jonah. Because, we're talking about a condition here. We're not talking about a place where you go after death. We're talking about a condition here. Then Jonah prayed unto the Lord his God out of the fish's belly, and said, I cried by reason of mine affliction unto thee, Lord. And he heard me out of the belly of hell. I cried I. He said, out of the belly of hell. Was he in a place burning after? And he heard me out of the belly of hell. I cried, and thou heardest my voice. You ever think of these things, brothers and sisters? Hell is a condition. It's not a place. They want you to think. See, the Christian church, I keep calling it that. I guess I'm going to, but the Christian movement, I would say. The Christian movement. And I would say the modern day Christian movement wants you to believe nobody's at fault, nobody's colonizing nobody, the love of Jesus into all nations, and behind the scenes, everything that the man does that causes hell, he is doing. They never wanted you to think the devil was a man in action. They want you to think that the spirit is magically sprinkling magic dust on the earth and things are happening. No. Nobody's at fault. Everybody can be saved. Everybody can. And our people fall for it. And I mean, the true Israelites fall for it with hook, line, and sinker. They run with it and never think. Never think. Let's go back to Isaiah 14. Isaiah 14. Now, I'm not going to do all Isaiah 14. I just wanted to do certain sections of it. Isaiah 14, verse 16. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man? Now, the context is talking about let's go back up. Let's go back up. This is the context of it. Right here. That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how has the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. Now, when we drop down, see, this is how we started. This is the parable. The parable hasn't ended yet. It had not ended. Watch this. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble and did shake kingdoms? Watch this. And that made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners. Watch this. All the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory, every one in his own house. See, all of this is going to make sense. Let's drop down to verse 20. Thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast destroyed thy land and slain thy people. The seed of evildoers shall never be renowned. Prepare slaughter for his children, for their iniquity of their fathers. that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. For I will rise up against them, saith the Lord of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name, the remnant, the son, the nephew, saith the Lord. Now, it began in verse 4 with Babylon. Isaiah 14:4. And it ended in verse 22 with Babylon. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back. We're going to go back and we're going to see Daniel. What happened to the king of Babylon? Was all the Babylon destroyed or what? Let's see. Daniel 5 verse 29. Then commanded Belshazzar, and they clothed Daniel, because Daniel told him the meaning of the writing on the wall. When they were drinking wine out of the golden cups from Jerusalem, and put a chain of gold about his neck, and made a proclamation concerning him, that he should be the third ruler in the kingdom. In that night was Belshazzar, the king of the Chaldeans, slain. So the king of Babylon, yes, he died, but wait a minute, he just died. He was the only one that died. Watch this. And Darius the Median took the kingdom, being about 62 years old. But let's go back to Isaiah. Let's go back to Isaiah 14 and verse 22. For I, the Lord, will rise up against them, not him, saith the Lord of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name, the remnant, the son, and the nephew, saith the Lord. So this is a multitude in Babylon, not just one man, a multitude. So this Babylon isn't talking about the first king of Babylon. This Babylon is talking about another Babylon, another one that's coming. Well, let's look at Psalms 137. Psalms 137. Verse 7. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom, in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. O daughter of Babylon. Wait a minute. Oh, so there would be another Babylon. Now, in case you didn't know, brothers and sisters, what you read in Isaiah 14 is the end. The end. So there's going to be a Babylon at the end of time, as it is now. Another Babylon has sprung up, and it's Edom. The children of Edom, Esau. See, this is what's catching up with them right now. The people are starting to see, hey, these guys, they're not about razzle and dazzle. They teach the text. And we can see why now our preachers won't teach it. Because I'm not going to spoil it. O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us. The way you killed, brutalized, took over, God is going to bring the same punishment and judgment back on the daughter of Babylon. That's why it says this. Revelation. Revelation. You think this Bible is knitted together too tight? Revelation 18 verse 3. For all nations have drunk of the wine. Remember, wine of the wrath of her fornication. The wine. The wine. Let's go back. Let's go back. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire is hell, and is his death. He is death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Let's go back to Revelation. Back to Revelation, brothers and sisters. Chapter 18, verse 3. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, her sin. And the kings of the earth have committed fornications with her. Kings. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich. Waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. So watch this. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye not be, watch, that ye be not partakers of her sins. That's what it was, transgression. And that ye receive not her plagues. The my people that is in this Babylon is who? Who is my people? See, you'll read this, brothers and sisters, and you would see my people as all nations. But hey, John wrote to the 7 churches, not all nations. My people and thou Bethlehem in the land of Judah art not the least among the princes of Judah, for out of these shall come a governor. Now this governor is Christ, that shall rule my people Israel. So the Israelites are in Babylon. And the Babylon is the daughter of Edom. So that's a nation, Edom, and another nation, Israel. See how it works, brothers and sisters? See how it works? See how it works? Let's go back to this scripture now. Let's go back to this scripture. 2 Peter. I don't want you to think I forgot about it. 2 Peter 2. And verse 4. For if God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell. Wait a minute now. Let's see which hell is talking about. Let's see which hell. And delivered them into chains of darkness to be observed, or reserved, to be reserved unto judgment. Now, take a look at this. Now, for some reason, we can't get these preachers to say that men were also called angels. Men were also called angels. Let's look at the first. We're going to go back. We're going to go backwards. 1 Timothy. 1 Timothy 5. Verse 20. Them that sin rebuke before all, that others also may fear. I charge thee before God and the Lord, the Messiah Christ, and the elect angels. Wait a minute. Elect angels. I charge thee before God and the Lord, the Messiah Christ, and the elect angels, that thou observed these things without preferring one before another, doing nothing by partiality. Who are these elect angels? You've never heard through the scriptures all the way through. You can take them back. You can take them back to Genesis. Elect angels will never be mentioned. There was not a certain angels that were elected, but there was a group of people that were God's elect. Let's look at that. Again, brothers and sisters, the book of Isaiah. (45), verse 4. For Jacob my servant's sake, and Israel mine elect. Israel is his elect. Israel are the elect. I have even called thee by name. I have surnamed thee, though thou hast not known me. See, the elect were the children of Israel. That's why. Who do you think this is? Christ is talking about in Matthew 24, verse 31, I think it is. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect. The elect is Israel, from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. Let's go to 1 Samuel 29 and 9. 1 Samuel 29, verse 9. Because, brothers and sisters, I go everywhere in this Bible. I'm trying not to leave a stone unturned. It says this, and David said unto Achish, but what have I done, and what hast thou found in thy servant, so long as I have been with thee unto this day, that I may not go fight against the enemies of my lord the king? And Achish answered and said to David, I know that thou art good in my sight, as an angel of the Lord. See, men were called angels too. As an angel of the Lord. I know you're good in my sight, as an angel of the Lord. Notwithstanding, the princes and of the Philistines have said, he shall not go up with us to the battle. Men were called angels. People act like this. I mean, it's nothing new, brothers and sisters. Men, watch this. 2 Samuel. 2 Samuel 14 and 20. It says, to fetch about this form of speech has thy servant Joab done this thing. And my Lord is wise according to the wisdom of an angel of God, to know all things that are in the earth. You watch. Let's go up, I think, 3 verses. Then thine handmaid said, thy word, the word of the Lord my. Let me start over, because I'm seeing something totally. Then thy handmaid said, the word of my Lord the king shall now be comfortable. For as an angel of God, so is my Lord the king to discern good and bad. Therefore the Lord thy God will be with thee. I'm just showing you a few of them, brothers and sisters. I'm just showing you a few scriptures that say, that men were also called angels. You have to understand how these things are written. 2 Samuel 19, verse 27, and have slandered my servant unto my Lord the king. But my Lord the king is as an angel of God. They're calling you're as an angel of God. Do therefore what is good in thine eyes. And of course, Galatians, this is the one that many go to, Galatians 4, verse 14. Now I'm proving this by precept, and then I'm going to get it. Watch this. And my temptation which was in my flesh ye despised not, nor rejected, but received me as an angel of God, even as the Messiah, Christ. Thou received me as an angel of God. Watch Acts. I'm giving you scripture, brothers and sisters, to show you that it, and when you see, when we go back to 2 Peter, you're going to see. Watch this. Acts chapter 6, verse 15. And all that sat in the council, looking steadfastly on him, saw his face as it had been the face of an angel. An angel just means messenger. Angel just means messenger, brothers and sisters. Messenger. Messenger. That's all it means. But let's go back to 2 Peter before I deal with this last part. 2 Peter 2. So men were called angels too, and I'm going to show you. For if God spared not the angels that sinned, men were also called angels by proof, by Bible proof, but cast them down to hell. What was the hell? And delivered them into chains of darkness. Darkness to be reserved unto judgment. Let's get, because see, again, brothers and sisters, they use these to say, look at that. One verse with no help. This you supposed to just accept that this is talking about the holy angels that dwells with God in eternity. Oh, let's look at this. We already know by proof angels were also men, but cast them down to hell, delivered them into chains of darkness. Okay? Remember this, because as I go through the scriptures, you're going to find out what this is talking about. Let's go to the book. Let's look at this darkness. Let's go to the book of Lamentations. I've been here before. Lamentations 3. And I want to start in verse 3. It says, surely against me is he turned. He turneth his hand against me all the day. Watch this. My flesh and my skin hath he made old. He hath broken my bones. He hath builded against me, and compassed me with gall and travail. He hath set me in dark places. Dark places now. This is when Israel was going into captivity under Babylon. He has set me in dark places as they that be dead. Dead of old. Dead. Keep seeing this word dead. He hath hedged me about, and I cannot get out. He hath made my chain heavy. In case you didn't understand, brothers and sisters, Lamentations 3 verse 6, dark. Lamentations 3 verse 7, chain. Darkness and chains, mentioned in 2 Peter 2 and 4. Now this is proof text who were in darkness and chains. Judah, when they went under the hand of the king of Babylon. That's the darkness and chains. We can prove the darkness and chains was Israel from the text. When they went in under the king of Babylon, we can prove that from the text. Darkness, let me do it again. Darkness, He has set me in dark places of old. The end of the verse, that I cannot get out. He hath made my chain heavy. Verse 6 says darkness. Verse 7 says chain. Darkness and chains. This is proof text. You're not going to find it in the Bible about angels getting cast into that. They take that one verse and say, oh, that's the angel. No, angels are men also, according to the text. And they were put in darkness and chains. Watch this. Luke 1. Luke 1. Luke 1. Verse 79. I'll read 78 and 79. Through the tender mercy of our God, whereby the day spring from on high has visited us, to give light to them that sit in darkness. Who was in darkness? Judah. Up under who? Rome. Darkness. And and in the shadow of death. Rome was the shadow of death. To guide our feet into the way of peace. This is talking about our people being persecuted by Rome. As it says, when Babylon, the first Babylon, came to take us, he, as you read in Lamentations, this is the Lamentations of Jeremiah. When Babylon came and took over, he seen the takeover of Babylon from a prison window. The darkness and chains were Judah going into captivity. Hell, like it was called before then. That's why I'm going to give you this verse here in the book of Ezekiel, because this happened way back in the time. This happened way back in the time, brothers and sisters. Because when you think of hell, you just think of it, and everybody says to themselves, well, hell is, it's here and it's there and it's here. No. Watch this. Here's a parable. Now, I got to break this parable down. I've been saying I would, but I haven't. Thus saith the Lord God in the day that he went down to the grave, and I caused the mourning. I covered the deep for him, and I restrained the floods thereof, and the great waters were stayed, and I caused Lebanon to mourn for him, and all the trees of the field fainted for him. So this is talking, the trees, brothers and sisters. Again, I got to make a podcast about the trees, are kingdoms, and you're going to see when I make it. But watch this. I made the nations to shake at the sound of his fall. Nations. And I cast them down to hell with them that descend into the pit. Pit. And all the trees of Eden, the choice and best of Lebanon, all that drink water, shall be comforted in another parts of the earth. Not in the fire pit. Hell again. Descend into the pit. Like it says in Isaiah 5:14, descend into it. Their pomp, descend into it. This has nothing to do with a fire pit, brothers and sisters. This is the top ruler of nations. The top ruler of all the nations causes this condition. That's why it says. Why do you think it says this, brothers and sisters? Revelation chapter 20, verse 13. I just want to get to the point. And the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them. What's the death and hell here? Who caused the death and hell? Man. Delivered up the dead which they have caused. They caused it which were in them. And they were judged every man according to their works. Watch this. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death, the lake of fire. Death and hell was cast into the lake, which they think is hell. No. No, 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 no. Conditions caused by a man. See, let's go back. Let's go back. I want to read this one verse. I think one more, but the book of Revelation, chapter 6, and verse 7. And when he had opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth beast say, "Come and see." And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. So here is death and hell again. And power for death and hell was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth. This is death and hell, to kill with sword and hunger and death, and with the kingdoms of the earth. That is hell. The ability for a nation to cause nations to die with the sword, with hunger and death, with who they choose of the earth. Man, Revelation 6 is going to be powerful, guys. It's going to be powerful. When I do that podcast episode later on, down the line. See, hell went along with death because they were conditions. But the Christian church will have you think, now, and even before I say that, this doctrine is not a new doctrine. This doctrine spans 400 years, at least. Back to the slaves, it was told, you worship, you do us good, you go to our heaven, you do us bad, you go to a hell. Meanwhile, those that were in captivity up under Rome, the forefathers, was already there. Because the children of Rome, the Caucasians, killed with a sword and with hunger and with death and with the beasts of the earth, our forefathers. Brothers and sisters, they'll have you thinking that hell is a condition. And the top nation is in control of the conditions of the earth. And everybody that suffers under Babylon was in hell. This isn't the Hamites. This is talking about Edom. Another group, another nation at the time of the end. See, that's the hell that the Sunday community don't want to teach. Isaiah 28. Isaiah 28, verse 15. Watch 14. It says this, wherefore hear the word of the Lord, ye scornful men, that rule this people which is in Jerusalem. Because ye have said, we have made a covenant with death, and with hell we are at agreement. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us. For we have made lies our refuge. So that's why. Lies is your refuge. And under falsehood we have hid ourselves. Under falsehood. That's why when you ask these black ministers, the color of Christ was he, Daniel 10 and 5 and Daniel 10 verse 5 and 6 and Revelations 1:14. Oh, it doesn't matter what color Christ is. The message is this thing. Hey, that's a lie. Is Sunday the seventh day? Yes, but Christ is not. Wait a minute. How could you answer one answer, then try to cover it with another? For we have made lies our refuge. And who is the scourge coming from? Death and hell. They made a covenant with the man that caused death and hell by war, the cause of hunger, and they do this with all the beasts of the earth. Because Israel is scattered among all nations. So all nations is in on it. Psalms 83. But our people are in on it too. That's why you can see T.D. Jakes, Creflo Dollar, Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, football players, NFL, basketball players, NBA. That's why you can see them be rich and don't care about what happens to their people. They're at agreement with it. Hell is a condition, brothers and sisters. It's a condition caused by man. And we're here. As I tell you before, brothers and sisters, I'm going to tell you again. Proverbs, as I've shown you, 22, verse 7. The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is a servant to the lender. You don't have a life, you're borrowing it. And when it gets old, you're going to have to get another one if you live that long. And borrow it too. The United States of America sure does know how to make hell look good, don't they? All praises to the Most High. On this beautiful Sabbath day, brothers and sisters, I am your host, the Apostle Reuben of IUPR Bible Radio. Happy Sabbath.